I went to GoDaddy and I got Nancy Jane Pritchard Taylor at .com. So don't really know what I'm supposed to do with it yet. I know I need to go back, but I got it, so I'm excited.
Let's start, right? And if you went through, you bought that, congratulations, kudos to you, right? And then when you set up your website, that KW website that you created, which would be, nancypritchard.kw.com,
Right.
when you go to your GoDaddy account, and if you have trouble, either myself or I'd start with the marketing tech trainer or me, we can show you. I've got some video here. Maybe I'll repost a video of how to go forward that. But all you're doing is forwarding that account. You're not doing anything else. So it's going to be a forward. We're not going to do a forward with masking. You don't want to do that. You're literally just going to forward nancypritchard.kw.com to the one you purchased, so that in your branding and use nancypritchard.com, right, for all of your marketing material. And when people go to that site, they'll get a redirect. That'll go to your kw.com site. That's all we're looking for at this point. For those of you that know a little bit more around websites, we can't change the A name or C records so that it indexes behind your purchase domain like we used to do with Place Your Sites. We can't do that yet. Just figured I'd answer that question in advance to you that understand those types of things. But I hope everybody else follows Nancy's lead, goes out and creates those accounts. And then when you do those, right, Nancy, you can have I think every agent at this point should have a Zoom account so they can meet with their clients. So you could have zoom.nancypritchard.com, and that'll be free and a free extension for you on your website. You take your mobile app and go app.nancypritchard.com, and those are just forwards to those landing pages for access. Just great ways for creativity inside of your business world. Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody have anything else from yesterday that they want to share and that they liked? All right. Well, today we're going to talk about designs. Who knows what Canva is? Anybody? Thumbs up, hands raised. Gail raised her hand. Awesome. I see Ted. I see Crystal. All right. A lot of you guys know what Canva is. That's great. So essentially, designs is our equivalency to Canva. Okay. We partner with a company called WeBrand. Okay. It's not actually a KW product. It's a third-party platform. KW at one point did attempt to build their own. It was actually, when this first rolled out, outside of my market center tech trainers, it doesn't matter. It used to be called Sketchy House, kind of a weird name, but it was called Sketchy House. But now we partner with a company called WeBrand, and that's our in-house marketing platform that's available to you, right? Social media posts, Facebook posts, flyers, listing presentations, designs, branding magazines. I don't know if you guys saw my Friday update, right? And is it Canva? It does almost everything Canva does, almost everything, to the point that I canceled my Canva Pro account. And I know a lot of teams that have marketing people that have also canceled their Pro account. For the biggest reason we're going to kind of chuck into is that our platform has all the listings plugged into it. So you no longer have to go in and pull photos. Like with Canva, I would have to upload all kinds of photography, right? Then I would have to download the PDF and kind of send it to wherever I was going to go. In Command, that's all interconnected. So it pulls my listings, it pulls my photography, it pulls my description, pulls my branding, my images, my photos, that's all there. And then I can send it out to what we're going to talk about, which is goes out to websites, landing pages. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about advertising and Facebook ads and things like that. So that's all interconnected. That to me is the incredible true value of designs. So we're going to walk through designs today, and you'll have a pretty good understanding. And again, it's just another applet for you to take a little bit of time and get comfortable with, because you're not going to master it on one day. There's little nuances built inside the system that I'll highlight the cool and important things. And you're just going to have to spend some time in there playing around, creating different flyers, listing presentations, buyer presentations for yourself until you kind of keep tweaking it until you get it to where you want it. There's no quick fix for a lot of these things because you're starting with templates, but starting with really cool templates. And I don't know what the actual number is now, but I believe it to be over 1,500 different templates that are sized appropriately for you throughout the platform. So we're going to walk through designs, understanding that there's a subtle differences in Canva, but Canva is its equal, right? The major difference is the MLS Connect, which is a lifesaver, right? WeBrand is our partner. Sometimes and it kind of comes and goes. So I'm going to be honest about this because we brand and Chrome sometimes they have an issue. So sometimes when you go to log in, you might actually see like there's an error. Oops, there's an error loading that designs image. Okay. Not passing the buck, but that's not a command thing. It's a we brand thing. And it's actually more of a Chrome thing, the way that it bounces around. There's a couple of things for you to take note. I won't be able to go into too much detail around it other than just telling you how to fix it, but it's recorded now and you'll have your Microsoft Tech Trainers. In your Chrome settings, make sure you have kw.com, webrand.com, kw.webrand.com, okay, as approved sites where third-party cookies are enabled. That's inside of your Chrome settings. If you're not trying to do that,
can you repeat that, please?
inside of your Chrome settings,
yes.
And Chrome is your desktop, right? On your browser. 3 dots on the upper right-hand side, you go to settings, there is cookies site approval settings. Mm-hmm. You want to add kw.com, webrand.com. You guys are seeing the screen, right? So it's all here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay.
Sometimes I forget to share my screen. I just start rambling. So I just want to make sure you see it.
No, I missed it. I've had a lot of problems in trying to use command with.
Okay. Well, we'll address all questions at the end. Absolutely. So kw.com, webrand.com, and kw.webrand.com, and allow them for third-party cookies. And I'll be honest, I've seen this happen on my end. Sometimes they disappear from Chrome. So what I started to do is that when I see that issue, 1, you could just try to refresh. Sometimes that'll load it back up. 2, this kw.webrand.com will go there directly and recognize your account. So those are the 3 things that I work around when I see that oops error popped up and I'm trying to work in designs. Look, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have these things, but sometimes when we have third-party integrations and partnerships, there's just some things that we grow, learning curves that we have to deal with in our day-to-day. So it's our job to kind of show you how to work through some of those things. So that's one option. Inside of designs, you're going to see a couple things. We're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about social. We're going to talk about print. We're going to talk about email. And there's a 5th one, which is an import PDF. So we'll give a little details about what's behind each door. Okay. We're going to talk about setting up if you've already set up, and I keep talking about this, your marketing profile, a lot of that information will pull across for you. If you haven't, then you won't see these things. So I'm going to steer you back to making sure that your marketing profile is configured. But you have the ability to do some additional enhancements that you'll see under what are called My Assets. You could choose color schemes. If there are certain color codes that you use, right? The CYMKs and the specific colors, you can plug those in. Or you can just kind of pick them off the color scale and say, these are colors that I want to integrate in my marketing. You can do that. You can add logos. You can do what are called smart tags, which is like, this is my name, this is my contact information, this is my website. That'll be easily pluggable. You'll see all these things. I'm giving you some terminology to go around what's in the system so you know. Text images. I'm sorry, not text images. Images like headshots, team photos, local imagery, things that are tied to my brand or things that I will incorporate regularly. Those are images. Logos are your market center logo, your team logo, any KWRI logos that you uploaded and you have the right to use in your business that are quickly accessible from what they call your assets, or your branding portion of this partnership. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to bring the screen in. All right. Bring that in. Go to my account that we've been working on today. So on the left-hand side, we're going to go into designs. Okay. So on this designs dashboard, okay. Now I do provide feedback. I would like to see some changes, but I'm going to talk to you through. So what you see across the top, email, landing page, social, print, agent site, and video. These are not where you go to create new elements. So it's a little bit misleading. So I want to be honest about that. Those are where your designs live that you've previously created. They're my templates. So if you had previously created a social page or a print, not only will you see them here on this home screen in order, right? Because after a time, they'll start, clicked off the page. After time, that screen will fill up on you. So they're filtered by these headers. And then on the screen, you'll see in order, the most recent. So that's what you're seeing here, all right? Even though this is my designs. You could also search by design if you knew what you named it as, okay? On the bottom right-hand side, you see a plus button. Plus button is where you go to create a new design, social, print, video, okay? So if we hit this plus button, it's going to ask us, what are we creating? Am I creating an email? Am I creating a social media? Am I doing something for print, right? A listing or a buyer presentation. Or there's nice new magazines that came out last week. Video. I'm going to start with video because it's not video in the world that you're thinking of video. It's a quick video that KW is giving you the ability to kind of feature some neighborhoods around. It's not really editable. It's a quick hit. It's very cool. I like it. But it's not video that you're kind of screen recording. Not yet. Okay. And then import PDF. So a lot of times people say, hey, I want to edit something that I previously had. So if you have created something, you're the original source of something. Okay. You can upload a PDF. And this is a built-in PDF editor that will match the font and the likeness that you can kind of go in. I'm not going to have the time today to kind of walk through all that, but you guys can play around with that. If you had a flyer or something that you created and it's on your desktop, maybe you created something and downloaded something from Canva. It's the best example of this. I created something in Canva. I download it from Canva to my desktop, right? Then I actually upload it into Designs. Designs will actually be able to break that apart so you can actually edit that PDF. Now, that does not mean I can go to my computer, throw a color flyer down on the glass, scan in a PDF, and then load it in and expect it to break it down, right? Because that's too many generations ago of an original source. So understand the digitalization, right, versus copying something off the glass and then coming back and trying to edit that. It's not going to work as well. Just I want to give you some clarity around that. Then you also have this button that says, would you like to import photos and text from a listing? Now, you can do it later, but if you know you're going in right away to work on a listing, then you might check this box, okay? Because then it's going to ask you for the address. But you don't have to do it up front if you're not exactly sure what you're going to work on yet. But if you're going in here, I'm going to create a listing presentation, check that box, click next, okay? Then it's going to go in for you. But what I want to do, because I was going to do this first, I'm going to start with video. Next, video. So then it's going to ask me for a neighborhood. Okay. So if I say Lakes of Ashburn, okay. Yeah, where'd it go? I have, you know what it is? I think it's because I'm in my demo account, so it's not, my geolocator is squirrely, I think. There we go. All right, so I'm going to choose Lakes of Ashburn. So it's going to pull information. Now, some of you are going to say, hey, this isn't accurate. Trust but verify, right? If you think this is different, go to the MRS and pull some of your data. Your consumers aren't going to know what's real. I'm not saying mislead them, but I'm saying it's probably within pretty close proximity because it's pulling data on a rolling information that may not be as up to snuff that you may know because our market is moving so fast. So if you need to make changes in here, you can, okay? But it's pulling within that neighborhood boundary, active listings, sold listings, okay? And generating that average home price. And you could say, is it on the rise? Yeah, well, everything's on the rise right now, right? Locally. Average price per square foot is on the rise, right? So if prices are going up, theoretically, that's going up. Number of active homes, there's 2 right here. And average days on market, look at that, is actually 3.5 days. Isn't that nuts? 3.5 days. Now, it asks you for neighborhood features. It's kind of a quirky little thing. Like, where does this come from? It's coming from third-party platform, but you can go in here and edit those. And this is a third-party integration that KW is plugged in that neighbors have populated to some degree. So you might go in there and rechange this a little bit to match the neighborhood if you know it a little bit better. Your agent information is going to pull automatically from, it's going to pull from your marketing profile. So make sure that's up to date. Your brokerage information should already be in there, which will also pull from your marketing profile. Now, when you click next, it's going to generate a video just like that. Are you guys seeing my pop-up? Is that still in frame for you? Okay. It'll take a minute to load, but basically it's going to generate a 60-second video. Let's take a quick look at it. Who thought that was cool? Quick, simple, easy, and cool, right?
That was very cool.
And then do you upload that to Insta or Facebook?
Yeah, so basically, so remember, so look, I'm on my design home screen and I generated that. So it's now under this video code, right? So I can download that. I can use it in campaigns. I can share it in social media. I can download it. So you have accessibility to kind of send that, populate that across wherever you need to.
Where did those little comments in there come from? You know, people saying lots of yoga or whatever that was.
Yeah, I forget the name of the third-party integration. I don't know if that's pulling from Nextdoor. I don't know Nextdoor well enough to know that where people can go in and somewhere behind this, it'll tell me where it's from. Okay. Off the top of my head, I just don't know. So what I do is I tell you, like I said, there's a drop-down list where you can edit those. And
you have to put 3 in, right? Because when I tried to do it, I only wanted to put 2, and it said no. It said you had to do 3.
I'm going to take your word for it. Honestly, I have not tested it to try to do less than 3.
At least
when you watch the video, the way it formats, I can kind of understand that might kind of screw up the design, right? Because it's meant to have those 3 dividers on that little infomercial slide. Mm-hmm. So I can see where that might create a challenge there.
Dave, the numbers, did you put them in or did they fill in automatically?
When I picked the neighborhood, it auto-generated those numbers based off of activity in that neighborhood, pulling from.
Why it's not generating? That's the thing.
Yeah, they auto-generate. Now, there has to be activity in a particular neighborhood. Some neighborhoods, there may not be activity for it to pull that data from, right? So it depends on the neighborhood you're choosing from, and you can edit that information.
Okay, I think I just edited it. Okay.
All right, so that was video, right? So that's not probably what the video that you had in mind. There's no editing that video other than what I showed you, which is changing some of the numbers and some of the yoga information that it asked for. You can't change the screen. You can't change the display. You can't change the background. Can't change the text. What you see, it's a WYSIWYG, right? What you see is what you get.
David, is there a good way? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it is what it is. It's cool, it's fun, and it's updated. So that's something you could share inside of different Facebook groups or forums or on Facebook or to friends with most up-to-date information. So
is there a good way to sort who we send this to? Because, you know, for someone who lives in Ashburn Village, they already know this stuff. But if I have a buyer who's looking in Ashburn Village, I'd love to send this to them.
Yeah, well, remember when you download this or whatever groups, you send it to whoever you want to in an email. You use command and filter by buyers or sellers or neighborhoods or tags.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you're good there. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're losing time quickly today. All right, so next option I'm going to show you. So everything else I'm going to show you functionally. I'm going to show you how to edit and build one thing, but functionally is the same across everything. Okay, whether I'm building a listing presentation, the magazine, they work the same. Social media, swapping out images for flyers, they work the same. So I'm going to show you one, and then you'll understand how to use the editor inside it and apply it across multiple platforms. And then I'll kind of show you some of the cooler things that I think you need to know what's there. So let me kind of walk through this here. I'm going to go into print first. I'm not going to choose a listing. And I'm going to show you the list where the listing and buyer presentations, right? So there's that error, right? So that happens sometimes. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to kwwebrand.com. I'm going to refresh that, and it'll let me right back in. That's a cookie Chrome thing. All right. So before we jump into this, I want to show you what are called assets. Assets are your information, right? So you're going to see colors, fonts, logos, smart text, images, and a couple other things that from a novice standpoint, and even from my industry, I haven't done yet. So we're gonna skip some of these on the bottom, but colors and fonts first. So I told you that you can pick your color scheme. So you see these across the top. You can actually click a plus button. You can choose the color. You can put in the codes for the color if you have that level of information that you're looking for. You can scale that across. Straightforward, fairly easy. Okay. Fonts, if you have a specific font type, okay, you can upload, right? Because you would have to have that downloaded and uploaded, right? Most people don't have a custom font type. But if you did, you could go to the web, you could download a font type and you could upload it, okay? Logos. Your logos are going to pull automatically for you. So if you uploaded some logos to your marketing profile, those will pull across. You can also upload additional logos. Now, it's important to know there are different types of logos as far as format goes. So I'll just kind of scroll across. You see how some of these have just a checkered background? It's called a PNG file. PNG means it will be a clear overlay. You've all seen these, right? When I put an image, a logo over top of something, the background bleeds through. And then there's other times where I use an image and it's got a white box around it. That's a JPEG. So just so you know the difference between JPEG and PNG, does it have a background? So it's in a white box, JPEG. Is it clear where the background's going to bleed through? That's a PNG file. That's the difference. Okay, most people probably weren't aware of that. So maybe you learned something today. But so you can upload multiple versions. You may have, you're seeing my region file, my KW file. So like KW provides different colors. They give you all white versions. They give you a red and gray and white version. So you just upload the different versions of the logos that you have at your disposal for your market center or for your business, right? If you have a logo designed for you and your team, upload JPEGs and the PNGs because you may use different color versions of those on different formats inside the system. So that's just what you're loading here. Smart text, right? Do you have a slogan? Not everybody has a slogan. That's okay. I wouldn't worry about that, right? You know, we're not Nike. Your phone number, your address, your business, your email address. You can create these quick hitting fields that I can just kind of drag into the elements as I build them. That's what the smart text really is saying here, right? What's my mobile number? So if I say, hey, I need my mobile number. Make it, what did I do wrong? Sometimes when I do things for the first time, because I have a dot in there, right? There we go. I had a dot in there. So I added my mobile number, right? So anyway, some quick things, easy for you to kind of go in there and build. Images are different than logos. Images are your headshots. Images are your QR code. Images are different things that are different elements you may want to incorporate into your business. And if somebody remembers at the end of class to ask me how to generate a QR code for the mobile app, I will show you. But somebody's got to remember to ask me because I will forget. So Gail, you celebrated the most, so you have to remind me at the end of class to show you how to pull your QR code. All right, fair? All right, so those are images. Upload your own images. Now the rest are elements and videos and files. So if you have like a Dropbox or Google Drive, you can connect your files. I have not played around with videos. I haven't seen that function, quick links, YouTube. I haven't played around with that yet, but that's basically uploading videos. I haven't tested it yet, so I'm not going to show it to you. But anyways, the big important ones are colors, logos, smart text, and images that I want you to make sure that all your information is pulling from your marketing profile, assuming you've built your marketing profile, right? We've covered that a couple of times now, or anything else you need to add on top of that, which are the different versions of your logos, JPEGs, PNGs, and things like that, or team logos or other images that you think you're going to use in your business going forward. So that is all housed under what we call my assets. My designs would also be like, here's anything else that I've previously built, right? They will also showcase here under my designs. Under templates is where the 1,500 different design elements that KW or WeBrand have already provided for you, right? 1,500. And that's just the number I'm going with. It might actually be higher. Originally said there was going to be 1,000 and they were going to continuously drop off the bottom 10% that weren't being used. I actually don't think they're doing that. I think they're adding more and more stuff all the time. So right now, if you recall, when we jumped in here, I told her I was working on some print. So you see different designs based off of what I chose. Did I choose print? Did I choose social? Did I choose email? So you'll see different elements based off of what I said, what I'm trying to do. So understand that. So sometimes you may see one thing and the next time you go in and it's not where you think it is, it's because you chose a different result. I'm trying to do something different. So be conscious of that. Across the top, right, because I said print, I'll see, all right, are you looking to do postcards? Well, here's some jumbo postcards. Am I looking to do flyers? Here's some letter type flyers. Am I looking for large postcards? Because there's a difference between large and jumbo, right? Or do I want standard? They're formatted, right? When you hover over it, it tells you exactly what they are: 6x4, 9x6, 8.5 by 11, social squares, 1080 by 1080, right? Or 11x6 for jumbo. On the left, I see different categories of different designs. If I want to advertise my mobile app, do I want to advertise a listing? This is where your listing presentation, everybody take note of that. This is where your listing presentation is. We're going to go take a look at that. Am I working with a buyer? This is where I see my buyer presentation. Am I looking to generate leads? Right? Am I talking about advertising my website? Am I advertising a client testimonial? Am I saying how much I love KW? Am I generating something for an event? Right? You're just going to have to go in here and look for things. There's that many different things, and I'm just trying to highlight a couple of the bigger ones. And then at the bottom, you always see like new designs, and then there's luxury. Luxury is a new rollout from KW. I'm not going to dive into this too much, but either you're a luxury agent or you're not. You don't get to choose. Your market center will let you know if you're a luxury agent because you have to qualify. You'll actually earn into that. And even though everybody sees these design elements, not everybody should be utilizing them because they are earmarked for the luxury program. So there are qualifying properties and there are qualifying agents. So I'm not going to go down a whole rabbit hole, but I'll just kind of give you a quick synopsis. If you do 4 transactions in the top 10% of the average price for homes where your office is in that county, then you could potentially qualify to be a luxury agent. Want more information on this, please talk to your team leader about it, okay? Now, I am not a luxury agent. In my market center, the average price, for those of you in Falls Church that were wondering, is $1.396 million for the top 10%. So for me to have a luxury listing, I have to have a listing above that threshold. Now, I'm not a luxury agent, but if I took a listing at 1.5 million, that listing qualifies for luxury status. I could use some of these luxury things. Does that make sense? Like, just kind of get some clarity. Everybody has access to these designs. Not everybody should use the design. So if you just happen to like the look and feel, please understand that not every property should be advertised with this type of information. Talk to your team leader about it. All right, so that's what luxury is. I always wanted to highlight it because people always ask. And then there's new designs. So KW will always try to keep things fresh. So under new designs, like this month, we had Groundhog Day. It's Black History Month. We had the Super Bowl. So they bring in new elements that are specific to certain things that are going on in the here and now. So it's always good to kind of go in there and see what's going on in new designs. Also on your homepage in Command, all the way back at the beginning, one of those design elements for your dashboard is a new designs notice. So you can have that popped up and read it every time you log in. If there are new KW designs, it'll showcase on the homepage for you. I'll try to remember to show you that at the end too. All right, so let's go up to a listing presentation. You'll see that there are 5 in here. They all have the same content. It's all about display at this point that's different. You're just gonna have to go through and see which ones you like. I'm conscious of the black because I don't like to use all that ink. You might use one if you're not printing that you like the black, but maybe it's just something for, I'm going to scroll through my tablet, that might work for you. If I'm doing something that's in print, I'm conscious of that. So I might use one that's more with a white background. No right or wrong there, okay? I'm going to click use. Now remember, what I'm showing you now how to edit and create things is static across all elements. Social, media, print, editing is the same, okay, on each thing. So in a listing and buyer presentation and the magazines, the screen works a little bit different as far as what your display looks like. On the left, you'll see there are all the pages for the listing presentation are available to you. You have to choose from the master copy which pages you would like to use in your created version of a listing presentation, okay? The second page of this is actually instructions. These instructions are for you. Right? Don't just go print all this off and try to use it. You're gonna look a little silly. This second page, this instruction page, is telling you how to use the document. All right. So you might choose, all right, I want the cover page, boom. I want to use the client page, boom. I want to, right? So there may be different things. You just kind of scroll through. Comparable properties page. There's the process. of how you market a listing, right? There's your custom marketing plan. I'm not going to go ahead and select everything. I just want to show you what it's like to choose a couple things. So they show up here on the right. And then at the bottom, it shows you the pages you chose. So these are the 4 pages that currently make up your listing presentation. And literally you go through here, okay? Now I'm going to delete. So I downloaded the instructions page. I'm going to delete that. Do I want to delete that page? Yes, I don't need it. I'm going to go back to my home page. I'm going to do that. There we go. Drop that to the bottom. Hide those just so I can see what I'm working on. So as I hover over this page, you'll see the boxes start to populate. So this is text. Okay. So I literally have this editor at the top. Now take note, there's a typewriter here. There's a color wheel here. So I can change the content and I can change what's in here. I could click in this box, double click, and start trying to edit it. The typewriter is your friend. Okay, if you wear glasses like me, sometimes it's hard to see on the screen. I like the typewriter because then it pops up and I can literally go in here and just say, edit this. Save changes. That's a lot easier than trying to click in this box and edit within the box, right? Also, I could say, hey, you know, I'm going to change this color. So I'll also see my library of colors, right? If you created a library, so that's there. There's some template colors that are kind of built in, or I can just choose something off of the scale. Is that complicated? Pretty straightforward, right? Traditional things that you see, I can bold any of this text, italicize. So you're familiar with most of these things, some fonts. Let's go to the next page. I'm gonna get something. Did I choose something that has an image? Perfect. So there's the default imagery built into the platform for you, right? You may like this. It's a modern looking house. Maybe you don't work modern houses. Maybe modern houses aren't prevalent where you take listings. So if I click on that, boom, what happens? So see this little circle here? On the left-hand side, my assets automatically popped up because it's saying, hey, are you looking to change out an image? Right? Are you looking to change this out? Now, I don't have any different photos under my asset collection right now, but I can go into company. Remember yesterday we talked about pixels? Well, KW also provides a whole lot of stock images for you. There's our friend, the pop-up bubble. I want to add an interior photo instead of the exterior photo. Okay. Be conscious of the layout. Okay. And you see this little, so I'm clicked on this block, which means I'm engaged with it. And I hover over a picture that I want to swap it out. See this little wheel? I click that, boom, it traded it out. Just like that. If I said, you know, I actually wanted this one, just change it right out. Client name. I could put the client name in there, right? Swap it out. DBA logo. So you'll see the DBA logo is a default on all these pages, right? But then my logos show up. Swap that out. Sometimes the sizing is a little bit off depending on how you load it. You just might have to move the boxes around. I need to change out my headshot. So that would be my asset. Swap that in there. Change my name. Save. Guys are getting the point, right? It's pretty straightforward and easy to click and choose. Now you can start, if you're more dynamic, you can start dragging and moving things around and repositioning things. I encourage you to work within the template at first so you get comfortable with it. Different pages, different elements that it's the process. So, right. So now we're saying, okay, these are the check boxes that are built in. Maybe I need to edit these or change these out to match how I do my business. Literally just go in here and change these out. Swap them out, edit them. So you would literally just walk through these Okay, you would change the name from Untitled Design to my listing presentation. So maybe it's my listing presentation template now, right? Now, share is not what you think it is, right? You're not necessarily looking to share and send this to Facebook. I wouldn't do that here. This might be a project that I'm working with somebody on my team, and I can share the link so they can go in and manipulate and edit. Most people won't do that, but if you have somebody you're collaborating with, the sharing feature comes in handy. You could download this directly to your desktop. We're going to get a PDF version of this. You can print and go, right? So I would have two versions. I would have one that's kind of static and generic that I always have printed off because I need to run out the door and go on an appointment. And then I have my templated version, which I would click done. That's going to show up on my home screen. So now I'm back on my home screen, right? I go to print. Call me a liar. It didn't download yet because of the size, but I would see it on the screen under print, and I could go in there and I could choose it and I can edit it. Maybe I took it 80% of the way, and then where I say client's name, I want to go in there and edit that for that specific client. So I would make a copy of my master and go in and edit that the rest of the way. Maybe I go in there and I had a picture. Maybe I did a quick drive-by of their property and I snapped a picture and I upload a picture of their property. It's not active yet. A lot of different things that you can do to kind of personalize these when you know when your appointment's going to be. So have one that's finished for print and ready to go because you got to run out the door, and then have one that you can edit and tweak when you have time to plan for that appointment. Buyer presentations work exactly the same way. They're just laid out a little bit different. So listing presentation, buyer presentation. Let's talk social. I'm going to go into social. Now I'm going to choose a listing. Yesterday, if I recall, we used a property on 612 Sun Court. Is that correct? Sound feels right. There you go, Sun Court. Okay, so I'm going to activate that listing. I'm going to ignore that and repost my page so it pulls in for me. All right, so we went back in. So I want to go back to, brought me back where I was. So I want to get out of that. Come on. Teaching in a live environment can be tricky. All right, sorry. Make sure I covered everything here. I'm going to go back to that in a minute. So we talked about print, and we're talking about social now. Give me 1 second to refresh that screen. Any questions on the printing things while I'm reloading my screen on my side? It's also Tuesday, and I know that they're actually working in designs today because I saw some nuances and new things. So it's always tough to train in a component or an applet where I know that they're doing some work on it today. No questions on that, the printing component that we walked through?
On the printing, do you have to have any special thing at the bottom, equal housing or anything like that?
You know, it's always good to check with your broker. I always like to include the, the realtor logo and the weekly housing just to, when in doubt, right? I might have it on the cover page or something like that. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm not a broker. So you can always check with your broker if you're not sure. Different areas, different rules sometimes too. Okay. All right, so I can, let's go in here. Okay. So let's go say we're going to advertise a listing for sale, and I'm going to put it on social media. Everybody seeing the screen okay now? Awesome. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose one of these, but you'll see that there are different sizes, right? I'm going to go ahead and grab this social square. And let's go ahead with this one. Let's choose a different one. Let's go with, I don't know. I will just go with this one. Use. Okay. So we'll see this is I said default content, right? Things work very similar to what we did previously, right? So obviously this is a kitchen, not of my particular listing, right? So I'll click on that. Now on the left-hand side, I see my pictures, but I also see this KWLS button. If I go to KWLS, and because I was having a loading issue, I have to search for that property. So I'll go ahead and I'll search for 612. All right, there we go. So I'll see all the photos will pull in automatically from the listing. Let's go ahead and swap that kitchen out for this kitchen. Right, there's that quick rotate button, which pops things in real quickly. I also have listing details, right? So all the information about the property shows up too. Price, bedrooms, baths. Now, depending, right, this got some information in here, bedrooms and baths. This is in a square. This square is going to match up piece by piece. So you have to be conscious of like, what am I swapping out? Is it worth the work versus just retyping some things? So in this particular instance, because I already had this laid out here, instead of trying to swap these, I know it's easier for me to just click on that, go to the typewriter, and update some of that information. All right, so I'll go in there and say, okay, it's 170. It's, I don't know what the actual square footage is, but I might say, hey, it's a 1689, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Save changes. So then we'll see that kind of tweaks out right here on the right. Right, got my DBA down here in the bottom. Just click on that. It'll automatically recognize my assets right here. Logos. Swap it out. And it's a little, sometimes it's finicky, so getting on the right box. I got that one doesn't want to format the way I want it to, so I just go down there and delete the one that was there, drag this, make it a little bit smaller, because sometimes tech happens. Just drop that in there. Change the date it was built, back to the typewriter. Save. Now, I've got this red bar over here. So I can click on that red, right? My red shows up. And I have my template colors and library colors that are there. But I also have this cool little eyedropper here on the bottom. This is one of those little things that I think if I didn't show you, you might not even try or even know that it's there. If I actually click this little eyedropper, okay, and then you see that's on my screen, I can actually pick a color. Let's say I want this brown off of the ceiling fan. And you see on the upper left-hand side that the colors keep changing. Does everybody see that little wheel of colors changing depending on where I'm at on the screen? Because it's recognizing the color of where I'm holding this teardropper. How about this blue, right? From the image itself. I'm actually going to click on this chair. I'm going to grab this blue off of this chair, and that red is going to turn the same color as that chair. Ooh, click too many times. Nuts. There you go. Now that's slick, right? Like to me, when I first saw that, I'm like, that's really sharp. So you can actually design this element, right? So let's go back to that blue again. Maybe you wanted the stainless steel out of the fridge. Click on the blue, grab that teardropper, hover over that little shiny spot in the fridge, boom, change that to that chrome. Quick and easy, right? And now you're highlighting, and it's subconsciously, you're creating a design, an element that you're going to share with the public that is kind of going to draw them in. They're not going to know why, but it's because portions of that photograph that you're highlighting through different accents within the design itself. Now you can get more customizable. You can start playing with, and I'm not going to jump into this today because this takes a little bit of practice, but you can pull things in. You can layer things, right? I can add pulls. I can add pull and forward. I can duplicate. I can lock the screen. I can play around with the file. I want you to go in and start creating some designs, social media wise, listing presentation, and play with all these things so you get comfortable with it. Right? Because if you wait, and I'm gonna be honest, right? If you wait to do one of these till you're trying to go live with something, is it gonna be easy for you or is it gonna be hard? Because you're gonna be under the time crunch, right? We get stressed, and when we're stressed, things never go the way that we want. So what I highly encourage you to do, and I know that a very small percentage of people actually do what I encourage them to do when I encourage them to do it, right, Christina? Is that if you test it, you will have a better experience than when you try to go live. I need this now. And that's entirely under your control, but it's something that I do recommend that you do. Then you could download this. Now, a lot of times, if I click share, okay, it'll say share to Facebook, it'll share to this or that. I do not encourage you to share directly with Facebook this way. Right. So when you share Facebook, what's going to happen is it's going to connect to your Facebook account because you have your business page connected at this point. It's going to post the link. Now, we've all seen Facebook where the links are there. It just doesn't look the right way. So what I encourage you to do is actually download the element and then upload it so that the image comes in the right way. This link doesn't work that way. Facebook has some sort of parameters on the back end where you've seen that in certain platforms, you can share it directly to Facebook, but you're not getting that thumbnail. So the workaround for you right now is to download and upload it to your business page. Or tomorrow's class, we'll talk about adding things through campaigns or social media posts, which you can do directly from here. So there's a couple of ways to go about it. We're going to take a little bit deeper dive in that tomorrow. But download, don't forget to rename it. And for those of you that are on Teams, what's coming live very shortly, okay, is that the Rainmaker on the team will actually have the ability to create certain elements or certain flyers or designs or social media posts for the team that are only accessible by the team members. They can turn those on and off for the team. So that's going to be kind of a cool thing that the brand, the team itself will be able to create certain packages and say, this is how all of our listings look. And then you're just swapping out pictures or content. And you don't have to go through the 1,500 different kinds. They can actually pull the approved designs for that team, and that will be coming soon. So just kind of a quick little nuance, sorry, not nuisance, nuance, that you guys will have accessible for those of you that are on Teams going forward. All right. Flyers, designs. If I come back out of here, I'm just going to hit done real quick because one thing I didn't show you yet was email. Email looks a little bit different. So I'm just going to hit done. I don't want to save this. So inside of email, we'll talk more about this. Emails will and can interact with smart plans. So if I actually design an email, say, hey, I'm going to design an email, they're going to look a little bit different. There are 42 predefined emails, templates that are inside the system for you already. Okay, 56, used to be 42, it's 56. And you see they're all named luxury. That's why they changed, they added all the luxury stuff. Okay, classic, buy, there's an invite type of event. So if I click on that event, say that's what I want to use, you're going to get this predefined, and you could turn this into like a newsletter type of thing if you wanted to. You get these additional elements on the side where I could actually add an image, or I can add a text box to this already created system. Okay.
Sorry, on the buyer presentation we have there, can you put that on this email? Can you create it on the email template to send out instead of print?
You would just download it and attach as a PDF. I wouldn't embed it into something like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That would get, it'd be a little, because of the size of it, that would get a little bit messy to try and embed that into here.
Okay.
All right, so this is all here. Now, what if I wanted to add a video? There's a lot of times people ask about it. So I'm just going to drag that video element over here. Oh, there we go. The video is not an embedded HTML video. What you're doing here, and when I click on this, now you're just seeing this little play button. It's a placeholder. And I actually come in here and I click on this, I hit this editing button. It's going to ask me for my URL. So I just kind of grab the URL real quick. I'm just jumping to a page. Hold on 1 second. Share, copy. All right, so I just grabbed the link from one of my training classes. I embed that video. And then I have to add a thumbnail. It's not going to pull a thumbnail. So I have to add a thumbnail. And I would just grab an image from my desktop. Oh, my file size is too long, of course. That's what happens when I try to do things on the fly. I'm usually prepared and I think everything through, but it doesn't always come across that way for me.
Oh, I did? Sorry, Captain.
Just grabbing any
It
random
wasn't
image.
soft? It was hard?
All right, so somebody's rebroadcasting me.
Somebody can post the link to the actual YouTube there and the
That's
actual
me.
Facebook page for the region, so everybody can request to join that.
Sorry, that was me. Just copied the link and hit play on a YouTube video that I was copying. All right, so I just added a quick thumbnail, and then that's going to be here. So when this goes live and it gets emailed out, what they'll see, and they hit that play button, it'll open up on that YouTube page that I pasted in here. You can edit the rest of this information about the event. And then at the top, I have a couple of things. I can preview it. So this is what it would look like going out to my consumer, right? This isn't live because it's just a preview. Okay. I can look at it on desktop, tablet, or cell phone. This is what it would look like if they opened it up on each of those devices. Okay. I could even send a test email.
David, can I ask a quick question?
Sure can.
You know that little KW house you've got there with all the websites on it?
Yeah.
I have no idea where that would be within Command. Can you?
It's not in Command. It was just something I grabbed off my desktop.
So how do we get that? Because we used to have that within our system.
It's not up to date, so I wouldn't use it.
But I need one. So is there anyone that's updated anywhere?
No, because not really, because the syndication channels change so regularly that I don't like to say, hey, this is everywhere we are, because it opens up a can of worms. If somebody picks some random site to go say, hey, where's my listing at on this page, then it's out of my control. So I got this at one point. This was, if I was going to use it, I would say, here's some examples of where we might be through List Hub. And then I could, I think I downloaded this through Command. KW does not stand behind all these websites anymore. So I would be very careful of saying this is everywhere your website's going to be.
But do we have a list someplace of where we are?
If you go to listhub.com, you have a free account. You can go in there and check there. That's the most up-to-date place. KW does not provide a list.
Oh,
Because they don't manage it, right? There's so many, it's a syndication of a syndication,
right.
right? And
I've used
outside
my
of,
listing presentations. I love it for that. You know?
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying be careful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people really care about what? Is it on your website, kw.com? Yes, it is. Is it on Zillow? Yes, it is. Is it on the other syndication partners? Yeah. Are people going to Homes and Land or somebody's third party elements? So small percentage, it doesn't matter. So honestly, if you shared this, probably not going to run into issue, but there's that chance that you have somebody that goes in and looks at all these, that you open up something that you would have to deal with. So that's all I'm saying.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. If you want it, I don't have a problem sending it to you.
I want it.
I just be real careful with it.
You can present it in a way that makes it global, just
yeah,
with
I don't disagree. All right. So I sent an email. Let me see if it came through. I sent myself a sample email. So let me just open it up real quick. I forget where I got sidetracked and I forget where I actually sent myself that test email. That's what happens when you have like 4 different email accounts. I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to send myself another test and test. right, that's right. Oh, there it is. All right. Come back. All right, so let me just bring this so you guys can see it. So I emailed that to myself, and this is what it looks like coming in. Now remember, I didn't fill everything out, right? And I didn't save that link, so that's why this isn't showing through. I just did a quick and I sent through. But this is what the format would look like on your consumer's receiving end. Mine's an unfinished product, so I didn't tweak it all the way out. But this is what and how your consumer would receive it in Gmail.
Now,
So
why
it's always
isn't your
good-
thumbnail, why isn't your thumbnail there on the video?
Hold on 1 second, Gail. I'll chime in. I always recommend that you send yourself, right, that tested email first, just so you can see the finished product before you send it out to everybody else. Go ahead, Gail. Sorry.
I'm just wondering why on your video, the thumbnail you put there isn't there.
Because I didn't hit save all the way through. I shared the preview before I completed building it out.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, I just didn't finish all this. Like I'm actually still on the editing screen when I sent the preview. I hadn't even saved it and exited it yet. That's why I didn't catch and lock in. See, I'm still missing some default information, but I have to go back and finish it. That's why it's incomplete. So I wouldn't send that test email to myself till I was completely done. But I wanted, for the sake of time, I wanted to show you what was there. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock. And I know I said I would show you QR codes. So I want to just pause and see what questions I have on building all of that to that point. How do you guys feel? Feel like you can go in there and build and play around in that? Was there any questions in chat? Gail, go ahead and ask your question.
If you would just take a minute too and go back and show us how to set up the new designs update so we get automatic updates on what the new designs are.
Sure. All right, I can do that. Let me, I'm going to escape out of here. Bring this up. First, I'm going to show you two things. First, I'm going to show you the QR code, and then I'll show you where the new designs updates are. So you have a platform called mykw.kw.com. It's the old platform that we used to use before we migrated across to Command. However, it still has some pieces in it that you can find valuable to you in your business. So mykw.kw.com. You log in with your user ID and password, just like you would in the Command. Okay. Under this home button, it says Agent Website Admin. Okay. It's our website 3 versions ago. So don't worry about building out a website here, but there's some information. This is where you're going to get your QR code. Okay. I'm just going to blow the screen up a little bit here for you. On the left-hand side, it says listings and IDX. Go to 4.0, 4.5. Okay. Change this to your market center and look what's there, a QR code. So what you do on my screen, I have a snipping tool. I just come in here and I copy that. I just snip that little element and I save it as a JPEG. So Apples and PCs are different. If you're on PC and you actually search for snip, it's usually built into your computer. It's a snipping tool. You can copy and crop something off your screen. So for me, I use snip. I literally just copy this out. I snip that out and I save it as an image, like a photograph of an exterior of a house. It's a JPEG. And then I uploaded that to my assets and my branding, and I include this on my flyers. And that, if you actually use your phone, you put it up on it. If anybody right now has their phone and they hold it up, that will take you to my landing page. That's what would happen. It would actually take it to your landing page. So your camera on your phone will read a QR code and open up. It'll say, would you like to go to this website? All right, so that's how you get that's the only place in all of KW that your QR code exists. And most people don't know it's there. I just happen to be long enough to know where these things are. So you're getting a little special something today. All right, the other question that I was asked. was, hold on one
Thank
second.
you. I'm sorry, David. One quick question. I just tried to do this and it took me to the KW app. Is this, but I can't tell if it's my app.
No, it's mine.
No, I did it on,
Right, but
I
you
did it
clicked on my QR code.
no, I didn't. I clicked on
Oh, okay.
mine. I followed along.
All right, then they would take you to an app, your app. It'll be your app.
Sorry, can you just retrace those steps again?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm going
I
to show you
see.
this and I'll bounce
Okay,
back.
thank
to that.
you.
I'm going to do this and then I'll bounce back to that. All right, so the other question I had was where on my home screen will I see new designs? See these designs updates? That's on my home screen, right? I'm in Command right now. And at the top of Command, if you're not seeing these, it's because you don't have it set to display for you. This is how do I know when I have new designs, right? There's a Customize Home button right here. And on this Customize Home, I can change what's showing up on my home display screen. And one of those options, right, I think you should have product updates clicked on, and design updates are what you're asking for right now. If I click apply, it'll show up here on the right. And I actually can change the order of things. Like I want to move design updates to the top. I'll click apply. And on my home screen, I'll see those designs. And if I click on any of those, I'll preview and I'll be able to see that here's the new designs.
Oh, okay.
So you have to turn on that element so you're seeing it on your display screen. So that's Customize Home, okay? And I like my product updates at the top, which I also think you guys should have turned on. Product updates, as a reminder, KWRI updates the platform weekly. We're actually working it daily, but weekly they post updates of what improvements or changes they added, and that's what shows up under product updates. So it's always good to know what's been improved or what's been changed. Now let me re-show you where to get that QR code. Remember, this is recorded, so you can always go back to this section too. mykw.kw.com. Go to home, go to agent website. On the left-hand side, there's 5 sections. Go to section 4.0, then go to section 4.5. Change this to your market center, and then your QR code and your mobile link, your landing page will show up right there. Use your snipping tool or screen capture device to copy that out and save it as a JPEG, which is just saving it as an image. That's all it is. If you're having trouble with this and copying it, save it, go talk to your market center tech trainer. They can help you download this, but that's where you find it. It's the only place you will find your QR code. All right. So that is it for today. Any outstanding questions? Okay, then I guess you're good. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about campaigns. So those design elements that you designed, right? How do you post them on Facebook? How do I post them into my scheduler? How do I run a Facebook ad, right? All that we'll cover in tomorrow's session. As always, this will be loaded and uploaded and posted live to Facebook and YouTube later today. So thank you for all those. I see a lot of the same faces. So I love that you guys are coming back every day. I thank you for that. And I hope you're really getting something out of these classes. So I will talk to you all tomorrow.
Thank
you, Dave.
Those of you for Falls Church, you're late for your team meeting, so you better get over
Oh my
there.
God, that's right. Sorry, Dave. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.